Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Angry Dave podcast. This episode is an episode of Dave's Thoughts with me, your host, Dave. So, a couple things I have on my mind recently. So, I went to an Eagles game with Motown Mike. We have Eagles season tickets together, and we went to the Washington Redskins game a few weeks ago. Before the game, we went to breakfast in University City in Philadelphia here and we were on Penn's campus. And if anybody knows Philadelphia, Penn's campus is there, and Drexel's campus is there, and there's a lot of young ladies. And it was a beautiful day out. And like most campuses in America of college, when it's warm out, um, young people don't like to put a lot of clothes on. And I'm a 47-year-old man, and I remember in 1994 when I entered the college campus and the first day of the first nice day on in like semester, and I would sit out on the quad, and there's like a little hill you could sit on, and I would watch all the young ladies walk by with their very bouncy tight bodies, and I would be very happy. I would like to say that nothing has changed in 29 years. I it does make me feel a little bit uncomfortable because I'm old enough to be their dad. Every one of them, their dad, and probably almost their grandfather at some point. Like if I had a kid, whatever, young, my grandmother was a grandmother at 36 years old. My mother was a mother at 19. So, uh, it's a possibility, right? But I still like young bouncy titties. I hope you forgive me. To any of the three women that listen to this podcast. Uh, all right. So that same day, I have a confession. I have an angry Dave moment that Motown Mike would like me to speak about. So after the Eagles game, the Eagles beat the Washington Redskins in overtime, and we're walking to go back to the car. We have a secret parking spot where we don't have to pay. That's very close to the stadiums, and we're walking back. And walking by us are a group of 20-something-year-old drunk frat boys. And the drunk frat boys walk by me and they scream, "Water sucks," right? Well, I always wear a number 20 Andre Waters jersey to the Eagles games. So my natural response is to someone who says, "Water sucks," to say, "So does your mother." And he said it again. And I said, "So does your mother." And then Michael turns to me and he says, "Dave, what are you fucking doing? Why are you right? Are you trying to get me in a fight with a bunch of 20-year-old drunk guys? I don't want to fight. Would you please stop? He's not talking to you." I said, "What are you talking about, Mike?" He said, "Water sucks. I have a Waters jersey on." He said, "He's not talking to you. You see the guy with the Bobby Boucher jersey right there? He was talking to him. He's quoting the fucking movie, you idiot. Stop trying to, why are you so angry?" And there was a man walking next to us who started laughing. And I apologized. And we kept going. So, sometimes I get mad for no reason. And again, some things have not changed since 1994. I try. I'm trying, everybody. I'm trying to be a less angry, more affable human being and to let things go. But I just am not good at when I think people are trying to make a fool out of me. I'm just not, I mean, we've been through it on this podcast, the psychological problems that I have about feeling people making me feel inferior. I don't deal with it well. So I lash out. You know what I mean? That's what I do. All right. Now to some more important things. Let's talk about people dropping other people off. in the city, particularly at schools, but you see it all over the place. Like especially in South Philly here, you see people like to like drop their groceries or go to pick their family member up on a street, and they pull in the middle of the street and they just sit there and wait for the person to get in the car or get out of the car. You know, it's not a big deal to me necessarily if there's no parking spot or no room to pull over. But if you have room to pull over and you don't, it really, really infuriates me. And I really wish, like, you remember, like, the game pole position for anybody who's over 40? Like, they used to have, like, the oil slicks or whatever, or, like, uh, you could shoot, like, debris into like, the car tires. That's all I really I just want to have that mechanism in my car where I could, like, shoot fucking flatten your tire so it'll ruin your fucking day because you're so fucking self-important that you can't pull over for 30 seconds. God forbid if you'll have to take an extra 30 seconds to get out of the spot because other people are passing you by. Pull the fuck over. I mean, what the fuck? Jesus Christ. And oh, your baby's in fucking 7th grade, bro. You don't have to watch the kid walk 5 fucking feet to the front of the school. For fucking Christ's sake. And I thought it would get better. Like, we're down in Center City now. Nick goes to a different school. He's not in the South Philly school. I thought, maybe the Center City parents will be a little bit better. They're no fucking better. It's the same exact fucking shit show. It's the same fucking shit show. Parents, parents. I hate parents. I hate other parents. Why do parents truly believe that they're special or their kid's special? Your kid's not special. There's a billion of them born every day. Nobody fucking cares. Just move the fuck over, please. I also had one of my angry Dave moments very recently again. Talked a little bit about it on the social media. But I was standing in line. I was going to buy pretzels for my coworkers at work, and I'm standing in line. I'm waiting, and this lady walks up, and she's speaking a different language, and she's on the phone. She's talking real loud on the phone, and pretending like she doesn't see me. And I see her like walk up against the the window, right? I'm standing outside. There's a service window or whatever. The guy's dealing with the guy in front of me. I'm the second in line there. And she walks up against the window, like to the side a little bit, looks at me a couple different times, talking real loud, trying to act oblivious. And the guy, the guy gets done in front of me. And then she walks right in front of me and then starts talking to the guy, asking him questions. And I said, oh, fucking, oh no, not today. That's not going to happen. Get behind me. She said, oh, no, no, no. I'm just asking a question. I said, oh, that's fine. You can ask a question after I'm done asking a question. Get fucking behind me. And she keeps talking, and I just keep pointing behind me. And she keeps talking, and I'm not responding to her at all. And eventually she stops talking, and she was talking into her phone, probably cursing me out. I don't fucking know. But, yeah, the self-important thing, it gets to me. Gets to me. And again, something I probably would have did in 1994. Uh, you know, I'm trying, kids, but I'm never gonna stop calling people out like that. It's just who I am. Yeah, I'm probably gonna wind up getting shot someday. Huh. Well, at least I paid my life insurance, sons. You know what I mean? At least I paid my life insurance. I wanted to talk about this thing that we do. It seems like in a lot of the big cities now, where the culture now is to pander to criminals. And again, I'm a liberal dude, and I don't believe in mass incarceration, and I don't believe that treating drugs the way we have historically treated them as, through the criminal justice system is benefiting anybody. However, allowing men uh, to drive around in ATVs and, motorcycles and fucking terrorize the community on the weekends and not doing anything about it is who is that helping? How is that a benefit to society? How is that a benefit to the police? If you have your police officers that want to do their job, that they're not allowed to do their job. And again, I would criticize police for doing bad job or being overzealous. And I'll be the first one to do that. But we have them for a reason. And if anybody has been in a city on a weekend when these fucking group of retards drive around and just literally just terrorize, speeding and just going and weaving in and out of traffic and really literally just trying to terrorize people, to scare the shit out of people. I mean, there's no other reason for it. And then most of them, almost guarantee most of them are not even from the city. So again, you're not, at least half of the people are coming in here to terrorize a city they don't live in. And we just let it happen. Finally, apparently, our chief of police resigned and went. So I guess there's a acting chief of police. I don't even know who it is, but apparently that person has got some sense back, and they just rounded up a bunch of these fucking morons uh, last week, and you know, uh, pretty quickly it's going to stop, right? And again, do these dudes deserve to go to jail forever? No, but impound their vehicle, find them, and do what you do, and it'll fucking stop. It'll stop. I mean, it's the same thing with again, we have this DA in Philadelphia that apparently doesn't think that prosecuting crimes is a good idea. Again, I don't want to overcrowd our prisons for nonviolent crimes, but violence is a problem in this town. It is a particular problem in our poor communities. You're not helping poor communities by keeping violent people in those communities. What the fuck? You know, again, that's not liberalism. It's not like you're not benefiting anybody. Do we need to reform bail? Of course we do. Do we need to reform the way that the criminal justice system interacts with minorities in particular? Yes. But not prosecuting is not the answer. Learn Finding a way for the system to be more fair and equitable is the way is it. But when especially violent crime in particular, somebody shoots somebody, they need to go to prison, guys. You can't sue the gun manufacturers because there's too many guns in town and then not prosecute gun crimes. What are we doing? It's the era of pandering. We just fucking who are we pandering to? Is it people that don't even fucking vote? Like they're dredges of society. What doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm not a fucking law and order person. I believe people deserve second chances. I believe the prisons should not be crime schools, and we should actually we should send people away and actually get them trained so they can come out and be successful. There's a lot of things that we could do better, but not prosecuting violent crimes or allowing people to terrorize our communities is never going to be the answer. And guess what, folks? And guess what? When you do those things, reasonable people get very pissed off about it. Reasonable liberals get very pissed off about it. Reasonable people, and then that's how you end up with the Donald Trumps of the world. It is like overdoing it one way. The rubber band. It's the rubber band effect. He snaps back, and then you get these fucking crazy people on the other side. We really need the crazy people to stop running the show for the 90% of us in the middle. If anything, this podcast has taught me or is not really taught me, but reconfirmed for me, is that we all want the same things. Everybody that I talk to, that you've heard talk to, I guess we all have similar values. We all come out way different on the political spectrum, but we all have similar values. We want the same thing. We want to be able to, you know, put food on our table, have a nice life for ourselves and our kids, take a vacation, and have a good life. That's all anybody ever wants. Now, intellectually how you think that we're supposed to get there differs, but we all want the same things. And when you talk to people and you sit down at a kitchen table and you talk about solutions to things, we all come up with solutions, reasonable solutions. But we're letting these fringes of our society treat us like we're not, that we're so far apart and we're so different. We're not so different. But what we're doing is we're allowing these fucking fringe elements to run everything and to push the narrative. And it's really, really has gotten out of control. And I'm hoping at least in my city in Philadelphia that it's starting to, come back a little bit to reality. Again, do we I don't want to be, 1950s Frank Rizzo, where we're beating up fucking black people for being black, right? Because that's what he did. Okay. And I know I'm going to get some Rizzo supporter to tell me how great he was to the three black people he knew, but he was not a great guy. So I don't want to go back there, right? We don't need law and order in that way, where your police commissioner's out on the street with a nightstick and beating the shit out of people. That's not what we want. But we also don't want to become, Seattle, Washington, where they decided not to, where they decided that they were, they were a free state for a while there, and they weren't going to prosecute any crimes. That worked out real well for like 32 seconds. We need to meet somewhere in the middle, like let's everybody just keep how our government try to keep us safe and you know, not not overtax us, not over put it, not put us in jail for everything. There's somewhere in the middle, I think. But it's certainly not letting fucking people to fucking shoot people up let them back out in the street, or letting these fucking morons, smash fucking girl's windows out because she didn't move out of the way for his fucking motorcycle. Yeah, they arrested that douche nozzle. And of course, he wasn't from the city. Shocking. And the same thing goes for looters, by the way. These people that like take the opportunity for some whatever political thing happens that didn't go whatever the way certain people wanted it to go, and then they go and they fucking run into Apple stores and steal Apple phones, and then going to these neighborhoods and ransack fucking small businesses. I don't have particularly concerned about Apple, as they have plenty of money and plenty of insurance. However, the neighborhood stores and our downtown area just in general, in any of our areas, you can't have fucking chaos. Do the looters deserve to go to prison forever? No, but they deserve to be held responsible for the things that they do. And guess what'll happen? It'll stop. But when people feel like there is no consequence, there are always going to be people to take advantage of that. That's just the way it is in everything. And you talk about government power and personal power. Unfettered power is always corrupted, always. So there has to be laws, and there has to be standards. It doesn't work any other way. At work, at play, anywhere. You can't allow people to to devolve into the Lord of Flies, because it will. Read the book. It will always devolve into that if you don't have standards and consequences for those actions. It's just a truism. We are animals at our core. I wanted to talk a little bit about leadership and about my perspective on what leadership actually is or what good leadership actually is. You know, leadership just isn't about being the boss or the person that makes the decision. Leadership is about allowing others to own their job, to motivate them to be better, to motivate them to make the decisions that they need to make your organization better. It's not about being right all the time. It's not about always making the decision that you thought was the best decision initially, or that your opinion is the most important opinion. It's actually really great leaders surround themselves with very smart people and they listen to those smart people and they allow those smart people to do their jobs and they hire smart people to do their job and they don't get in the way of them doing their job and they hold them accountable when they don't and they more importantly hold themselves accountable as well. I see far too much in life where there's a lot of talk about, culture in business, and it's just a lot of lip service. And then you walk out of the room and nothing changes. And the same people make the same insulated decisions without listening to anybody, without listening to any advice, without taking other people's perspective into consideration, or that they make you promises over and over again and never deliver. And then anybody who's good in an organization, when you see that process over and over again of being discounted, of not being listened to, of not being heard, of having a promise made to you that and it doesn't come to fruition, what are you to do? Like you then it turns great people into unmotivated, zombies. Because then you just come in and you do, and then at that point you wind up doing you see people wind up doing the bare minimum, to get by, to get out of the day. Because why would you put the extra effort in when you're not listened to, you're not heard, the promises that were made to you don't get kept? Leadership is about motivating those people underneath you. It's about making those people better, finding the things that they need help with, and encouraging them to improve on those things and to validating those things that they do great and respecting the person below you. That's the other thing too, is that I see people that they, you know, act like good guys, and maybe they are good guys or good women, when you talk to them, but they don't have an actual respect for people that work under them. You are never going to get the best out of somebody if you don't honestly respect them. And again, you don't have to agree with them. You don't have to make the decision that they want you to make every time, right? Uh, Ultimately, as the leader, the buck stops with you, and you do have to make the decision. But talking that through and having people and communicating with your staff to understand why you made that decision and why it differs from what they said in a respectful way, and to know that you as the leader respect their opinion and respect them as a professional and respect that they actually are an expert at whatever that thing is that you're doing. Because isn't that what you really want? Don't you want experts at the task that you're giving that person underneath you? They're the ones that are doing it day to day. They are more of the expert in the process and fulfillment of that duty. Why wouldn't you want to listen to them? Why? Why wouldn't you want to listen to somebody who has been at this location or at this place for many years and has perspective that you can't possibly have because you just showed up? My mother said it in the podcast, the last podcast we did with her, about being a leader. And, when she came into a new place, she would sit back and she would watch. And it's such a valuable lesson for anybody who's listening. She would watch, she would listen, she would ask, and then she would slowly make changes that needed to be made. She would try to keep as many people as she could, because it's all ultimately much easier to work with what you have than to move on from everything and blow everything up. But sometimes just a change in culture or a change in actually feeling valued means everything to someone. Nobody wants to go to work and feel like they're a robot and they're replaceable, right? Again, everybody's replaceable. We know that that's true, but people need to want to feel valued. If they feel valued, they'll go a million miles for you. If they feel that you care about them, they'll go a million more. But if they feel that, you're just waiting to replace them, or you don't give one fuck about them and their personal life, or them as an individual, or them as a worker, then you're going to get a zombie. And you're going to get people that make more mistakes because they're not locked in. I'm just tired of seeing bad leadership. Tired of seeing people that wear the suit beautifully, that give the speech impeccably, but when nobody's looking, they can't get anything done because of a variety of factors. They may not be the person that knows how to hold people accountable. They might not be the person that knows how to stay on course and follow up. They may not be the person that listens to people and then they wind up just doing their own thing their own way, despite what everybody else in their organization or under them has told them that they should or shouldn't do. I've been involved in processes where people have asked my opinion for things. I've come up with a reasonable solution, and then they just change the solution. It's not any more reasonable than mine. Sometimes it's a worse solution. Sometimes it's marginally better, or arguably, maybe it could be arguably marginally better. But why even ask me as the expert if you don't care? Why did you engage me? Why are you wasting my fucking time if you're going to just do it your own way? It's aggravating over time. It's aggravating over time to hear, these big fucking grand promises and to talk about culture, 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 culture. Culture is about one thing. It's about personal relationships. That's that's it. All the super fun events to have at work. Nobody gives a shit about that in the long run. People want to work with people that they genuinely respect, if not like, and feel that they're being respected. And you don't get that unless you're communicating with people and showing people an honest consideration for who they are. It just doesn't happen any other way. Just tired of hearing about this special prize that you can win. Fucking cares. Nobody cares about it. They make fun of it, guys. They make fun of it. Ask them how they're doing. Ask them how their kids is. Find out what their fucking kid's name is. Find out what makes them tick. You know what? You wanna gain somebody's trust. You want to gain a great employee. Do that. And guess what? You're going to find out who the pieces of shit are pretty quickly when you actually try to engage people. You're going to figure it out. Then it's not so hard. Then you know who you can trust, who's in for the ride, and then who you actually need to push out, because they're just, there's a game in the system. It's easy to tell, but you have to communicate with people, and you have to be honest about it too. It can't be, some used car salesman shit that I seem to see with executives almost everywhere I've ever been. It's just very frustrating. Here's what I'll end with. I got one more thing, and it's just about self pride and things that I've seen in the workforce. And I don't think it's a generational issue as much as it's a issue currently, like as across the board. I've never done anything in my life where was okay with failing. Now, I had an absurd fear of failing for most of my life, which was not necessarily a good thing. Um, in some ways, it was detrimental to me because I would not try things, right? Because I was afraid to fail. But so I certainly don't want people to have that fear of failure. But I take pride in trying to be the best I can be at everything that I do. Now, the ultimate best at every given time, no. But let me say it this way, I guess. I always want to be proficient or very good at everything that I try to do. And I see so many people that literally just show up and they don't give a fuck. They give zero fucks. Like, executives, managers, directors, in organizations that just don't care about their quality of work. They're just waiting for the paycheck at the end of the day. And I don't get it. I don't get it. So my advice to any young person out there is if you are somebody who shows up on time, who works hard, who tries to improve, who's willing to be criticized, um, to make improvements when they're not doing well, um, and just keep grinding it out, you are going to be successful in everything that you do because there's not that many people out there that do it. There's a lot of people that want to be that want to take the fucking Instagram picture and show how great they are, but they don't want to do the work. If you're willing to outwork people, or if you're willing to work, let me just say that if you're willing to put the work in every day and try to be better and try to do your best and improve and work on improving, and again, ask for criticism and take criticism in a way that positively impacts you, you will succeed. There's just no question because there's just too many charlatans out there. Too many people just showing the fuck up with no intellectual integrity. I don't even understand how you get out of bed and that you have been telling somebody for months that you're going to do this thing for them. And they keep telling you, is it done yet? And you keep saying it's going to get done or what? Yeah, yeah, almost. And then nothing gets done. How is that even a thing? I sometimes get in trouble because I'm too fast. I do things too fast, but that's partly a thing that I've learned over the years that I need to get things done right away, or as soon as possible. Because if it sits on my desk or it sits in my email or whatever, if I postpone it, it's never going to get done. It'll always be the second most important thing. So I try to get things done in the order that I see them. Right? I work on the thing that I see and I move on. And if I can't get it done, yeah, okay, I'll move. I'll get what I can done, then move on to the next thing. Um, but I can't I'm not a guy that can have 70 emails pile up. Like if I'm on vacation, I got to look at my emails. I can't come back to 4 days of work and 150, 300 emails, whatever, where I have to respond to. It would drive me bananas. And some people work differently, I guess, but you just need a system, the system, and stand by that system and work through that system. Whatever your system is, it's fine, but the system has to be consistent and you have to follow up. You have to be a person of your word in the workforce. There's nothing, my grandfather used to say that there's nothing more important than your word, right? And that's true in every environment, particularly the workforce. If people can't count on you, then you're going to prove that pretty quickly by, underperforming. Always, undersell what you can do and overperform, right? You can't do it the other way. You can't oversell and underperform. And I see so many oversellers in the workforce. And then some people, they just don't even give one flying fuck about how good their work product is, as long as the paycheck's there. And I just don't know how that is in the end, if when I walk out of any job or any life experience, I want people to say that he was smart, he was a good worker. I don't care if they think I was a hard worker, but I want them to know that I did good work and that I was a person of my word. And then they can say whatever the fuck else they want about me because I don't care after that. Because sometimes they're going to say I was probably too crass, which that's probably true. Sometimes, they're going to say he could be a miserable fuck, and that's probably true too. He curses too much, 100% true. None of that means anything to me, but I value my integrity and my performance. And any job that I ever gone into, I don't think anybody would ever say that I lacked integrity or I lacked performance. So that's all that I care about. And it's insane to me that other people don't care about that perception they're giving out into the world. And I don't understand how you build a career off of that. But people do, and they get in very high places by looking pretty and sounding sweet. I mean, I guess that's another way to do it. Certainly, uh, there's been plenty of people to make much more money than me and much more successful because they look the part and sound the part. But I don't know. I'm not in on that. I'm in on the I want to be it, right? And I just don't understand how people get out of bed without even trying to be it. With always trying to work the system and trying to fool everybody for as long as they can fool them instead of actually trying to be good good at what they do. All right, I think that's all I have for now. I did, I guess I did have a little bit of a rant on people being on time. I'm gonna let that one go a little bit. Don't be late for shit. That's all. Don't make people wait around for you. It's annoying. You know, 12 p.m. does mean actually 12 p.m. I don't know. Uh, Anything else? That's all I got for now. But so I think, just so you guys know, in the podcast world, Frank Ginzano and I are doing the Unqualified Sports Podcast, a Philly Sports Podcast. We're going to start doing consistent episodes of that, hopefully on a weekly or at least biweekly basis. And I'm going to do some of these individual podcasts. I'll call them Dave's Thoughts. And then I will still continue with the interviews. Uh, I've been a little bit lazy about scheduling people with the interviews, but I'm basically splitting it into basically three different segments, I guess, at this point. We'll do the sports podcast with Frank. I'll do my thoughts episodes, and we'll do the interviews. The interviews, I guess, will be the longer of the three forums, and we'll try to keep the sports uh, and the thoughts a little bit shorter. But if anybody has any ideas, anybody wants to come in and be a guest on the show, please do it. I also thought about some ideas of having, several different people come on and just talk about some random topic, whatever it is. I might have some more, comedy characters. By the way, Uncle Cletus is not a real person. He is my vision of a creepy old uncle. Um, and I'd still encourage anybody who hasn't listened to Tony Ocean podcast with Jacob as Tony Ocean. I think it's hysterical. I go and listen to that. But this is my 50th podcast, so I figured I get to talk to you guys a little bit about what's on my mind and give you a little bit of update on where I'm going with it. So until next time, I hope you keep listening.